Good evening, guys, and welcome to episode 14 of the We Know Nothing show. Who'd have thought it's on there? 14 episodes later and still going
14
strong.
episodes later, and we're still cracking on with it, aren't we?
And we still know absolutely nothing.
About football.
Exactly. Yeah, so welcome to the show, guys. Tonight's going to be a bit of a different one. We're just doing it, obviously, Christmas special, all that jazz. You know, we've got reindeers. We've got the big reindeer there. Ho, 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 and all that jazz.
Are you talking about me or the reindeer on the t-shirt?
A bit of both. There we go. Nicely modelled there, Youngie. Thanks, son. So as always, guys, any constructive criticism is welcome, but try and keep the negativity down to a T, please. On tonight's show, we're just going to be discussing the draw that we've got for the Nations League for next year. The quick flick over the Premier League at the moment, and then we'll just discuss the ongoing football issues surrounding COVID at the moment. So Youngie, as always, welcome to the We Know Nothing show. Couldn't do it without you, as always, my mate.
Yeah.
Guys, enjoy and get in touch with us. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, job lot, email address if you want to get involved. Enjoy.
Yeah, good evening, Mark, and welcome to the We Know Nothing show again. As you said, Liverpool are currently 2-1 up against Newcastle on this fine evening of COVID-hit football. So I think we'll just go straight on to the Nations League, and because it's been drawn today, we've got a hell of a draw. I don't know what we're expecting, really. We were going to be in the top groups, so we were always going to get a hardish draw. But I think having Italy, we could get some redemption of some sort, albeit it's not going to give us a final of a cup. Germany, aren't they? It's
hit and miss with Germany.
Yeah, what England team is going to turn up against Germany, and what Germany team is going to turn up against England, and how are we? Are the fans going to be there? That's the next question. Are we going to have fans? And then Hungary, who are not pushovers.
No, they've improved a hell of a lot over the last few, and we found that out to our detriment in group stages at qualifiers for World Cup, didn't we? I think the beauty of the Germany camp in such is that we're not on the level par at all, I don't think, but some of the youngsters that they've coming through, some of the youngsters that we've got coming through, it's exciting times. Really, really exciting. So that'd be good in the grand scheme of things of seeing the young lads competing maybe next season, maybe next year in the Nations League with each other. That's going to be good. Italy again, I think, like you said, I think you made a great point on that. Then Youngie, about we do all in one, but let's be under no illusions. We gave them one as well in that final. So that's going to be good to see. I think from the point of view of with Southgate, I think sometimes I can be his biggest critic. Sometimes I worry about the development of the squad, just because I feel like he's a very, I want to say cautious, and he is a cautious manager. But then we've got to look at the flip side of it. And out of the last two major tournaments we've been in, he got us to a semi-final and a final, and before that, it was always.
I've got a question for you on that though, as well, because obviously there has been quite a bit of criticism around Gareth Southgate.
Yeah.
But he's the best English manager in the country at the minute. At the elite level, there's no better English manager in the country at the minute. For me, I'm not sure he walks into a top 4 club, because top 4 clubs are not looking for English managers anymore. You know.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
David Moyes is English, isn't he? He's doing a decent job.
Oh, he's Scottish,
He's
isn't
Scottish.
Yeah, he's
I'll
Scottish.
delete that. He's Scottish.
Yeah, we can delete that. Yeah,
he's a British man. He's a British manager.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Best English manager at the minute, Gareth Southgate. There is.
Yeah. I think
there's no one out there that stands out to me as being a person that of English. It's English. You wouldn't see an Englishman manage the Italian team or the German team or someone like that. So we should have an Englishman managing England, not a Sven-Goran Eriksson, not a Jose Mourinho. We need somebody that is English and English through and through, and he's got that. And like you said, and the point that you made was the last 2 tournaments have been a success. I don't know what more of a success England want. Yes, we got to a final. Could we have won that final? Yes, we could. Did we win it? No, we didn't. But it's still a success based on where we've been in previous years. That's the first time we made that's the first time we made a cup final since '66. Since '66, all we win is go, we're gonna win, we're gonna win, we're gonna win. Some of the best teams that we ever had and didn't make it out in group stages. So and easy looking group stages. We've now in noticeable years have seen a
progression,
semi-final and a final, which is progression. And if they got to a semi-final at the next tournament, then that's still progression for me, because yes, we've made it to we're consistent on that level, and that's where you need to be. Only one team can win it, and only one team wins a tournament every 2 years.
So on that point then, Younger, it's a good point you've made actually, that because you've just led me on to my next thing. So I was just about to say, before you obviously read my mind,
rudely interrupted you.
No, I was just about to actually say to you then, so how I see progression for England is 2 things. How I see it, obviously, first one that jumps out, progression is winning a tournament. Obviously, that's your progression, because you've gone that one step further. That's progression.
That's the
pinnacle. That's the top.
That's the next, isn't it?
But the progression, also, what I think is developing the squad, what's up and coming, the players that are coming through on a monthly, monthly basis, getting them in the grand scheme of things, changing the squad, like ousting the older players, letting the young players come in and doing a job as well, and sort of getting to the same level, if not higher, than where you were with the previous squad. So obviously, we're blessed at the moment because we've got quite a young squad.
The crop of young players, even with the young squad, the crop of young players that are still
coming through, absolutely
sat there on the side. You've only got to look at Jude Bellingham, for instance, who is a fantastic footballer, and he's still not in the first team. Like, he's there, and he touched a little few games here and there, and he showed what he's about, but he's not cemented a position. Look at Declan Rice, for instance. Come on leaps and bounds, hasn't he?
I watched Declan Rice on Sunday against Burnley, and I know he were playing against us, and it's his hometown club, and we don't get me wrong, he were playing against Westwood and Cork, and don't get me wrong, I think at the moment, me and you could play against Westwood and Cork, and that's no detriment to me and you. What I mean by that is the guy was phenomenal, and I were really impressed by him.
Watched him play last night. Actually, I went up to the club with some of the football lads, and he was picking the ball up in places that Declan Rice a few years ago just wouldn't have been picking that ball up. They
Yeah,
wouldn't be
just
running as
everywhere.
much of it.
Yeah. That was the one thing that jumped out at me.
Yes, they got beat, but he's
His performance.
he's that player that's going to come in and take over from Jordan Henderson for me.
So where does he go though? Does he go Liverpool, Chelsea, or Man City, or Man United?
For me, he stays
he's going to one of them clubs.
For me, he stays another year at West Ham.
Depending on where West Ham finish.
Don't do that early jump. Sometimes that early jump doesn't get you what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, very.
You've got he needs somebody that's going to manage him correctly. He needs somebody that's
and he's still young as well.
Yeah, and take the time to grow him. Where does he go? Yeah. He goes to
City for me to replace Fernandinho.
He goes to City if they're going to spend a lot of money on him.
He's going to demand.
He goes to Liverpool if he wants to learn to be a midfielder. For me,
I think
yes, Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the world. There's no questioning that. Jurgen Klopp is a very close second, and now Jose Mourinho's been up there, but I think Jurgen Klopp just don't know, with that style of midfielder, I think he's very good and gets a lot out of that style of midfielder. He manages to keep getting great games out of Jordan Henderson, and we both remember seeing Jordan Henderson in his early years, and he was most of the time the best player for the other team.
Agreed.
But agreed. You don't know who the manager of Manchester United is going to be yet, and Manchester United needs somebody like Declan Rice. Is it good to be needed more than good to be? Let's just look at Jack Grealish, for instance. He's gone into a team where he's gone from a team where he was the big fish. He's gone to a team where
he's a little fish in a big pond now.
He's a very, very good player, but he's playing with, week in, week out, playing with another 20 odd players that are world class players, and they're not getting in the team as well.
Yeah.
And when he gets there, he has to step his game up again. And I think over recent weeks, he's been showing that he can play at that level, and he can play at the level with your Kevin De Bruyne again, who's just hit form. So I think he's got to manage. Somebody's got to manage him correctly, and it's not got to be about this. It's got to be about playing football.
Yeah. He don't come across that way though, Declan Rice.
No,
I don't feel
100% doesn't. Like,
he's 100% a footballer.
Yeah, and that's so. Going back to your point, yes, we have a young team who are over the next year. Because let's not get it wrong. This time next year, we will have crowned, if not about to crown, a World Cup finalist. I can't remember when it finishes. But it finishes the week in the build up to Christmas, doesn't it? I can probably find that out.
Won't be a bad Christmas present, would it? Lifting World Cup. So I suppose in the sense of from Southgate's point of view, obviously we've come off obviously the back of the Euros this year, getting to the final. So obviously the nucleus of that squad will probably be the majority of the players realistically what go to Qatar. So I suppose for your likes of, just shouting some names out there, like your Smith Rose and your players like that who are performing on a level with Arsenal and teams like that.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you just because I'm going to interrupt you just because I just found out the date. So it'll finish the World Cup final next year is the 18th of December. So it's Sunday. So it's on a Sunday.
Yeah, well, it'd be a Sunday. Yeah, it'd be a Sunday. Yeah, so Saturday this year. Yeah,
so it'll be Sunday. But go back to your point, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think you're right. So I think the point of view is if you strip that England squad down now, obviously you relatively you've got young goalkeepers in Pickford, Ramsdale, and Henderson in recent weeks, but I think how Pope he's sort of been playing recently. He's sort of probably getting back in the eye line of Southgate a little bit.
Does he need another move? Does he need a move though? Does he need a move?
Well,
for me, look, we are. I'm going to say I think we get relegated this season. I don't think we've got enough to get out at the minute, and that's. I didn't want to say that, and I don't want to say that. I think it's going to be close between us and Watford, and how much Newcastle can bring in and gel. Norwich are already relegated, and I'll let you have your say on that in a second. But I think we, as a country, need our players to be playing at the best clubs. And we've noticeably had players before that should have been in England squads, but because we were playing that lower way down the league and potentially getting relegated into the Championship, your player's not going to play. We're talking about Henderson at Manchester United, who hasn't played for Manchester United all season barely.
He's been getting in.
He's getting in the squad. We've got a player that's playing week in, week out, arguably not having great games, but at least he's playing. And he's not getting in. But it's not just down to it. And sometimes the fault falls on a goalkeeper, but because the goal goes past him. But we've just not got a good enough 10 people in front of him at the minute.
No, and you're only as good as the players in front of you, aren't you? That you rely on that. As a goalkeeper, you're that last line of defence.
Because arguably at the Euros, Pickford shouldn't have been in goal on his form. If we were going to go on people's form, then Pickford shouldn't have been there. Probably shouldn't even have been in the squad. In his form for at least for Everton. But again, he's done absolutely nothing wrong. Gareth Southgate. So I do take your point. There are some good young goalkeepers coming through for England, and that's fantastic.
But do you not think, just on the point what you're saying about Pope there? No, I'm hit and miss sometimes with Pope, because I think he's a great shot stopper. I think for his size and stuff, he's a really good shot stopper. And I watched him on Sunday and stuff, and it just made me realise, actually he's not off. He's not an half bad keeper, really, with some saves he pulled out. And I think this is where I get the frustration with Southgate, because for me, you've got, and I'm not being biased, so for the people that are watching it, I'm not putting my cloud tinted glasses on here. But like, you've got in our squad, you've got James Tarkowski, who for me on his day is quality. He's better than Conor Cody and Tyrone Mings in my eyes.
Again, he was a player that was arguably in better form than both them players. They went to the Euros.
Yeah, 100%.
He stayed at home. It just didn't make sense.
But this is the frustration.
I'm throw something else out there. Just Ben Mee is better than both of them players.
Well, this is the thing. Yeah, and this is going back to my point about the frustration with Southgate. So you got James Tarkowski, you got Ben Mee. Now, bearing in mind, for me, I don't think Ben Mee started this season well at all. I think he's really struggling this year. But on the flip side of it, we've got a left back in Charlie Taylor, who consistently performs week in, week out, very good at doing his job.
Yeah.
And I think Charlie Taylor's just been unlucky with the fact that you've had, Luke Shaw, Ben Chilwell, players like that who have been in front of him. But these players to not even get a look in the friendlies and stuff to see what it's all about and to actually get a look. But yet, when you talk about
Charlie Taylor has been like unbelievable. Some of the defensive tackles he was.
Oh yeah.
It was only last weekend that I was reading that he was the highest defensive tackler in the Premier League.
Me at all.
And then yes, Luke Shaw was having a phenomenal season, deserved to go to the Euros. He was the best left back in the country at that time. Chilwell was up there. But let's get it right. He's playing at Manchester United and
Chelsea.
At Chelsea. And are getting to play week in, week out against. So again, it's somebody that I see as somebody that would look at potentially moving on to a bigger club to get a better player playing against them, not week in, week out, because you play Premier League football week in, week out, but you play alongside better players.
You become a better player.
Potentially become a better player.
So how does it work then?
Playing Europe.
So how does it work? When Nick Pope got omitted from the squad and he put Sam Johnston in? He's playing Championship football, West Brom.
That is one that I don't get as well, to be perfectly honest.
How does that work?
I don't get
and that's the point.
I don't get the Sam Johnston thing. I get that there was
but he said
a couple of injuries and stuff like that, but
yeah, that's the thing though. He said he's not fit. And to be fair to Dyche doesn't really get involved with the nitpicking between international and club level because he just concentrates on the club. He even said, I was very surprised by his remarks. How can he not be fit when he just played 3 games for us, all 90 minutes? He said, we will play him if he weren't fit. So I think going back to Southgate, and don't get me wrong, he's given us some really good memories that we'll take to the grave with us in the fact that we got to a semi-final and a final and stuff. But my only concern is I just worry that is he the right man to harness and develop that squad? And don't get me wrong, I think I agree with you when he's the best English manager we've got on hand. I think he has progressed the national team. But my only concern is that when you've still got the likes of Conor Cody and Tyrone Mings and players like that getting into the England squad, my only concern is that is he the right person to lead the next generation of us into the next years?
Who is that right person? Because
this is the thing. There isn't one.
We're talking about like we've just said, we're talking about a manager that took us to a semi-final and a final of
a
Euros and a World Cup. Like we're really nitpicking. Like
we are absolutely
the smallest of things.
Yeah, 100%.
And again, who takes over for him? Is the best English manager. I think he took over from Sam Allardyce, didn't he? When Sam Allardyce did his 1 game.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he came in.
I think it was a bit of
an interim, didn't I?
I think it was a bit of a blessing in disguise, to be honest. Because what would we be getting from Sam Allardyce? Like, I would have Sam Allardyce at Burnley to stabilise things and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. But as an England manager, he was 10, 15 years too late.
Yeah, I think he should. Yeah, I agree.
We need a young manager, which is what we've got to manage young players.
So if you step down tomorrow, so if you got, say, like he got offered, I don't know, speaking hypothetically, it'll never happen, but say like Man United took a punt on him and Man United were in for him in summer and said, we've seen how you've done the last few years with the English team and set up and all that, and we want you to come in and be our manager for the next 3 years. Cheers, thanks very much. Sounds on the dotted line. Right. Out of the current managers, who do you take? If we had the choice of any English-based manager now,
English-based or
at this
English?
moment in time, English manager. So we'll just keep it in the sense of an English manager. I think possibly 2 jump out just because of. I'm just being nostalgic, and I think it'd be good, but possibly more experience needed. Obviously, one that jumps out at me is Steven Gerrard. But again,
you've got Steven Gerrard, you Frank Lampard, but again, they've a short. Even Wayne Rooney, for instance, even Wayne Rooney, them 3 players there alone were world-class players, but are still very short in the tooth.
Yeah.
When it comes to managerial experience.
But absolutely.
So is Gareth Southgate.
Yeah, and I think well, we say that though, but Southgate had a lot of interaction with under-21s, didn't he? He's had that interaction.
He did, but then
he's had club management.
Would Steven Gerrard be the top of your list then, because he's been to Scotland, won everything in Scotland, brought back the glory days for Rangers. Is now taken a chance, a big old chance, by the way, at coming to Aston Villa, and he seems to be doing a good job at the minute.
I think with Steven Gerrard, I think we what you got with Gerrard when he went to Rangers, he harnessed like some of the younger players and stuff, and I think I can't remember where this lad were playing, but I think where you'll have to Google it, or there was that lad called Aribo. I think he might have been at Charlton, and Rangers snapped him up. Very good footballer, really good player. Connor Goldson thrived under him. James Tavernier thrived under him. Players like that. Even Arfield's quite obviously long in the tooth, but he did well under Steve Davis. He took Steve Davis up there. That were a coup. Jermaine Defoe, players. Players that are at the latter stages of the career. Steven Gerrard got the best out of him because he harnessed that experience.
Yeah, and
look at him at Villa now. Look at him at Villa. Yeah. He's played what's he had 6 games, and the only 2 times he's lost is it Man City and Liverpool? Is it? And it's not, and the other 4 teams that they've played. Obviously, I know they beat Norwich last night, but they've had a new manager coming in, taking over from Dean Smith, who I rate. I think Dean Smith's a great manager. He's a bit like Dyche, Dean Smith. A bit like Wilder as well.
Would Dyche be on your list at this point?
No, absolutely not. No,
not even in a short term.
No,
turnaround.
Not in a million years.
Keep stability within the English club. Why not?
No,
because he knows the English game. He knows how to harness people. He knows how to get a lot out of his players.
Maybe I'm being critical, but I think.
And he's done nothing wrong. And to be fair, he probably should be in a different job than Burnley, higher up, if you ask me.
Well, the thing is there's 2 ways of looking at Dyche. And one is it can only work with the players that he's got, and that's understandable. And I think that is that. But I think if you were given what's the squad you can pick out of? Is it 21 every time you go like to a friendly and stuff like that? Is it 20? Pick a 21 man squad or something.
Yeah.
Well, I think potentially because he's got the pick of the whole of the English talent, maybe we'd see a different kind of Sean Dyche because he's got different things to rely on. Maybe.
Do you think if he's got if he's got a bit more money, then he can potentially do more? Like, he's never been given a lot, has he?
But this is the thing, though, isn't it? Though, and we say this, he's been given the most money any Burnley manager's ever had in his defence. However,
but he hasn't not spent it wisely. We've got quite a few players out of it. I think some of it has been a bit nostalgic, like not necessarily him signing players. I think the J. Rodriguez one was potentially a nostalgic signing that the club made and not necessarily Sean Dyche made. Yes, we needed a striker at the time. Yes, it would have been great to bring J. Rodriguez back to the club and him hit the ground running and score 1 million goals. But, it didn't happen. And he's had some injuries in his time as Jay as well, hasn't he? And I'm not digging at Jay because I think he's a fucking decent bloke and I think he's a very good footballer.
Absolutely.
But then, he went out and signed Stephen Defoe, who has arguably been one of the best signings the club has ever made. And then he got injured and disappeared. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've done it again now. We've signed a player and he's digging up trees to score goals for us.
But I think I went on the turf with our fellow, the We Know Nothing show pundit in Daniel Jackson on Sunday, and we were talking about it, and there I don't know whether this is a general consensus throughout the fans and stuff, but we were talking about the fact that with Dyche, is it a case of sometimes the money is there but you don't want to spend it? And if you look at some of the signings that he has made, they've been quality. I don't think Maxwell Cornet were signing what he made. I think that were a club signing. I think
I don't know.
When you look at the players that he wants, that he likes, Maxwell Cornet is not that kind of player. He likes the
maybe
running through
not,
brick walls.
But
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe not. But
it's like there's two versions of it.
He's not one for that whim signing, is he? And he will have looked at him and he will have watched him, and
ultimately he would have made the final decision, absolutely. But I don't think he would have actively looked at him in the first instance. I think that would have been like maybe part of the new generation of the of how we are going forward. As a club.
So then, if it's a no to Sean Dyche, what about Graham Potter?
I like Graham Potter. I
He's a young manager.
Let me go back to Dyche though, really quickly. I think with 21 different players, I think Dyche can impact more than what he's got at the minute with Burnley. And I think, and I think the reason why I get frustrated with Dyche sometimes is because, like, we know, like, we're just amateur footballers, and we've played at a decent standard. We talk a good game. We sort of know the game a little bit. And I think sometimes when you're on the turf and you watch it and stuff, and you know what changes need to be made, and he doesn't make them, he can't then turn around and say, "I've no real impact players from the bench and stuff." But I get that. I get the impact player side of things. I get that. But you sort of set yourself up for a fall because you sort of.
Is that the reason why he's not spending any money then? The reason he's not spending any money is because if he spends all this money, then he's got more higher expectation.
Yeah, maybe that could be that. That's a great point. He might be thinking in his head. We don't know what Sean Dyche thinks about every time, when he puts his head on the pillar and stuff. He has got it. Like, he's got the key to the town. Alan Pace has said if I could have given him a 10-year contract, I'd have given him a 10-year contract and stuff. So the vibe and stuff from the club is that they want to build success with Sean Dyche, which is fine. I think we all do. We all want to see success.
To build success with Sean Dyche, I think they've got to give him money, and if he's not spending it, then the club has to spend it and say, these are your players that you've got to manage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. We've got a fantastic training ground now. I want to see more youth coming through. Let's start progressing some of these youth talents that we keep signing from the bigger clubs, who are these world beaters at different clubs, and then we bring them in as youth talents, and then we have them for 3 years and then ship them out the door again, and they end up at Staley Ridge Celtic or somewhere like that.
Well, the only youth player that came through over the last 4 years is McNeil, or maybe longer. That's the only player to know. No one else has come through. And now,
but even then, we were saying, oh, he's come through and he's made an impact, and then people are like, well, yeah, but he'll disappear again soon. And obviously he hasn't, and he's carried on. And arguably, a season ago, he should have got the transfer out of the club. At that point, he rightly deserved
20 million for him.
No, and no one was ever going to sign him for 20 million. The club weren't stupid, but quite rightly so. He probably should have got the form of his life, and he probably should have got it out. But at that point, when you're being linked with some of the biggest clubs in Europe, that's gonna have an effect on a young lad. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, of course, of course it is.
But yeah, let's. So Graham Potter would probably be up there as well. I would say a very good manager, gets quite a bit out of his players, likes to play attractive football, I would say.
Decent manager.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move on from England and Nations League and stuff like that, because I think we've dwelled on that quite a bit. Let's have a look at the Premier League. If you don't mind dwelling, that's what we do.
This is it.
Let's have a quick look at the Premier League. So the Premier League table, I'm going to run it really quickly. City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, West Ham, Man United, Tottenham, Wolves, Leicester, Villa, Palace, Brentford, Brighton, Everton, Southampton, Leeds, Watford, Burnley, Newcastle, Norwich. Now, we've already said, I've already said it on this show, Norwich are going down. However, they have 2 wins. Like, they've won twice in the Premier League this season. And they're bottom of the Premier League on 10 points. Then you've got Newcastle above them, won once in the Premier League on 10 points. Burnley above them, won once on 11 points. Watford have managed 4 wins. Leeds have managed 3 wins. Southampton have managed 3 wins. Look at where Brighton are. Brighton have won 4, but are in 13th place with 20 points because they've drawn a lot more of their games. But, look at Burnley. They've drawn 8 games and won 1.
And the scary thing is about us this season is compared to different seasons, we've been there and thereabouts in these games as well. And we've not been overawed in these games. We've been there and thereabouts. And, games that jump out at you, Brighton, Norwich, Crystal Palace, games like that, all of a sudden, you're turning them points into 3 points. You're pointing to 3 points. All of a sudden, we're not on 11 points, we're on 19 points. We're further up the league and stuff. And I think that's what's a bit different this season. And I think that's what's weird is that again, sorry to harp on about the same bloody point all the time, but I watched them on Sunday. And I can honestly tell you, it was one of the worst performances I've watched in a very, very long time. But we still got a point.
Yeah,
that's the positive. But that performance.
But I look at the fixtures and I think watching the games, and I've watched most of the games, if not watched them back. First game of the season, Brighton Burnley get beat 2-1. That game was arguably our best game of the season.
Yeah.
We battered Brighton for 70 minutes, I would say. They made 2 substitutions and killed us.
Yep.
Liverpool beat us 2-0. We were in that game.
Yep.
Then I'm going to go over the Carabao Cup. Leeds, we draw 1-1. Like 2 seasons ago, that's us getting something out of that. Last season, that's us. A draw is a good result, don't get me wrong. But Leeds have just been pumped 7-0 off of
Man
City. Then we go forward Monday Night Football. I remember watching this one, Everton, Burnley on Sky. And we are well in that game at the start of the game and then get pumped. And again, it was a substitution that changed the game.
Crazy 10 minutes. For us. We conceded 3 goals in 10 minutes. Crazy 10 minutes.
Arsenal, Burnley, again, a game that we should have got something out of, but didn't. Leicester 2-2. Arguably shouldn't have got anything out of that game. I don't think. I think Leicester were the better team. Norwich, we were not at the races again. Like, maybe shouldn't. But then, we've drawn with Leeds 1-1 and had a decent game against them. Our next game in here on the 16th of October is Manchester City, and they beat us 2-0. And we put up a good show against them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's
definitely.
At the minute, yes, we've been beat off Tottenham, City, Liverpool, Everton, who are Everton. I say Everton, they should be higher up than what they are with the squad that they've got. Arsenal. So we've been beat off the top 6 teams realistically, and we nicked a point against Chelsea. Again, a game that we were well in. It seems to be, yes, we're getting beat off these teams who are in the top 5, but we'll put up a performance against them. And your Southamptons, your Brentford's, obviously a good game for us against Brentford. Your Crystal Palace. We scored 3 goals against Crystal Palace. How are we not winning that? We were a team that don't concede. Or we were a team that don't concede.
Yeah.
Wolves,
I agree with you on
0-0. Newcastle, 1-0 defeat. Wolves, Newcastle, Brentford, we got the points. Southampton, Norwich, Leeds, and Brighton. They're the teams that we need to be winning, not your Liverpool, Man Cities, Man United.
Yeah.
We should expect to get beat off them. And if we nick we nick anything off the top 6 teams, it's a bonus.
Happy days, yeah. Absolutely.
But that's what a couple of other teams are doing around us. That's what the teams that are sitting outside that top 6 berth, bottom 3, are doing.
Yeah.
They're nicking the points off them people, and that's where it's killing us.
I think with the I think the game what jumps out at me the most is the Norwich game.
Yeah.
I think we Cornet not playing that game and Vidra getting sparked out in first 10-15 minutes by Krull and going off. If Vidra and Cornet, one of them plays that game for 90 minutes. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. If Vidra and Cornet play that game for 90 minutes, we win that game because we've got that attacking threat.
Yeah.
But I think that is one of the encouragements that I'm taking, is that we've been competitive in the majority of the games that we've got points from, but not really got what we deserve, so to speak. I think I would have loved last night's game to be on, because I think that stadium, I mean, given Sunday's performance, I suppose it could be a hypocritical statement, but I think the stadium could have been rocking last night, because a lot of fans who I were talking to and stuff knew the importance of last night's game, to beat them and come out the bottom 3.
We've now got 2 games in hands on.
Well, we've got Tottenham, haven't we? Tottenham and Watford at home.
Yeah, but for me, there's 3 key areas that we need to deal with, and we weren't going to go too much into Burnley. We were going to talk over the Premier League, but obviously we're going to talk about Burnley because it's our club. So 3 key points for me that we need. We need to keep either James Tarkowski or Ben Mee, if not both, at least until the end of the season. Even if it's a 1-year contract and it keeps them until the end of the season, and then we let them go at the end of the season. That's what you need to tie them into. Get them into a 1-year contract, and then at the end of the season, deal with it then, instead of having to sell them midway through this season because they're going to go on a free at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then we need to get rid of 2 strikers, and then we need to get a striker in, because we can't bring another striker in with the 5 strikers that we've got on the books. I think we've got, if I'm right, Vidra, Barnes, J. Rodriguez, Wood, and obviously Cornet is playing up there at the minute, because potentially 4 of them players are not scoring goals. They're not hitting target, never mind scoring goals. And that's currently our downfall. We've always been good at keeping the ball out of the back of the net and being able to nick a 1-0 win. Now we're keeping the ball out of the back of the net in some of the games,
but we're not putting it in the net.
We're not putting it in. Like, we take a single chance or something like that and then keep it out. But we're just looking. But we need a midfielder. We need that midfielder.
We need some legs. Yeah, we need some legs in that middle of the park. Yeah, we definitely need some legs. But this is. I suppose this is the beauty of it, though. Like, we've got the NFL star that's come on the board as well, and he's pumped some cash into the club as well and stuff. So I would imagine that there's money going to be there in January. It's just finding that right player.
And we're going up against the Newcastle. We're going to be up against the Newcastle this year.
For me, I'll go on record now, and I'll on the 16th of December at 9:10 in the evening, I will go on record and say Newcastle United will get relegated this season. Eddie Howe is the wrong manager to keep Newcastle in the division. The players that they'll sign, for me, the players that they'll go for, you'll have. I've been reading it over the last couple of days and stuff, the links that I've seen and stuff, and the kind of players that I would imagine they will be going for. Your Dele Allis, your Fabian Dells, your players like that who are in that bracket of.
But they're players that I would have. They're players that I would have.
No, yeah, absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. What Eddie Howe will try and do, he will try and get experience to get them out the shit, and then in the summer, if they stay up, which they won't, Because I just feel like with Newcastle, I feel like it, they could sign 3 or 4 players, and don't get me wrong, it could have an impact on them and stuff. But I feel like they're going to give themselves too much to do.
I think if they sign any more than
fixtures.
If they sign any more than 5 players, they'll get relegated because you just can't bring that many people into a squad in January and try and get something out. Because what you will do is you will turn people that are in the club around that there's a noise within inside the club, it throws them out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I don't rate Eddie Howe, so
well, I think I was talking to a couple of lads last night actually at the club, and I'd said to them, I don't think Eddie Howe is the right manager. And
definitely not.
I said it, and I was like, what has he done in football to be the manager of the now richest club in the universe?
Don't get me wrong though, he spent 40 million on Dominic Solanke and Jordan Ibe, so that's a bonus.
Stands Burnley in good stead, to be fair, because he might spend 40 million on James Tarkowski, and although we want to keep James Tarkowski, we'll spend
4 pence.
We'll get 40 million in, and somebody will go and live on his yacht for a year, and we'll offer someone a bag of quavers and a Mars bar.
See, I think it's a complete, and it's good. It's a good point that you make that, because I think it's very funny. I've seen something in this chairman that I never would have thought a chairman would have at Burnley. I've seen a chairman who is willing to be a bit like Barry Kilby, in the sense of he wants to be one with the fans. He wants to be a part of everything. I saw him on Sunday taking photos with people and stuff outside the ground, which I think is class. When we played Tottenham and he was shoveling snow off the pitch, that were
Tottenham, yeah.
Well, when we're not Tottenham.
It was Tottenham, but we didn't play him.
No, I mean when we had the game, he was pictured in shoveling snow off the pitch, which is, and again, it's little things like that, and I think it's a completely different mindset with our chairman. Our chairman will want to do everything in his power to make sure Sean Dyche has got funds available to get players that he wants, and I think that's the switch between Mark Garlick and Alan Pace. Garlick got to the point where he did not want to invest anymore in the football club.
And that's why because he was on his way out, wasn't it? And it was taking so long for one of the consortiums that were interested in buying the club to buy the club.
But then that goes back to that point of what we were saying about Newcastle, though.
Yeah.
You've got a completely different contrasting thing with Newcastle, though, this year. Newcastle, if they stay up, they could have an unbelievable summer of transfers, because new project, new season.
Again, though, like, what players do they bring in to Newcastle that actually want to live in Newcastle? That's a million miles away from London, and then it's a million miles from the second city, Birmingham, and then it's a million miles away from Manchester. Like, it just, I don't get it. It's not.
It is a city, though. That's the
thing. It is. But I don't get it. If you were going to be a consortium and you were going to come in and buy somebody, I'd have bought another London club, me.
I can't weigh up that takeover.
Why didn't they go and buy Arsenal? Like, Arsenal were a club
just don't sit right.
Arsenal were a club that were in need. Yeah. Look, Newcastle were in need of an owner, and they needed somebody else to come in, but they didn't need somebody this big. Like,
something doesn't sit right with me, because there's just something there. But time will tell, won't it? Then we'll see.
Absolutely. If they're winning Champions League in 3 years, then winner. They sign Ronaldo and Messi in the prime, then win it. Oh no, they're not going to do that. So, and Haaland's not going to go there in January, is he? So
they'll go down. They'll go down this season.
Okay, so my question now is to you. 2 questions are going to follow back to back.
Oh, look at this, eh?
Yeah.
2 MCs go back to back.
We're going to go My Burnley question first is: we need 3 players in January, 3 to 5, but I want 3 to bolster the squad.
Okay.
Name, not where they are, name the 3 players that you would sign right now that you know potentially be available in January that would give Burnley extra, even if it's on loan.
Okay. Ross Barkley. In a nutshell, in a heartbeat, I'd have him at the club. We put him on the spot here.
I am.
I don't think he would come because I don't think Eddie Howe. I don't think they'll sell him, or I don't think he'd leave. But Matt Ritchie, tricky winger, got a bit of pace about him, can play either side. And if we lose a striker, then
not if we lose, we've got to lose.
Well, I think we.
I'll drive any of them anywhere. I'll be the taxi. You heard it here.
I think for us, I think what we need up front is we need a similar sort of player to
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, someone average. But I think we need. I'll take Ross Barkley, middle at Park. In fact, I'm going to change it. So I take Ross Barkley. I take Nat Phillips from Liverpool, because he wants to leave for first team football. So I think
defender Nat Phillips, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think we will lose. I think we will lose a centre half in January.
He's on his way to Newcastle, isn't he? That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I think, but then I'd like to see another flair player come in, someone like Cornet again, because I think
we've already got.
If you get if you get another Cornet style player, then all of a sudden you've got a little bit of flair. Because I don't think we'll lose any strikers in January. I think the only striker that we could lose in January, but I don't think it'll happen, is Barnes. But then he's got the like I said, the Ross Barkley thing. That seems to be one that we're always sort of recently.
It's not gone away, has it?
No, and I would love to see him at the club. I think it would be a loan to a permanent move. But I like Fabian Delph. I think Fabian Delph quality.
I was waiting for you to say what's your 3, and
yeah,
I'd like to see us bring in. We've got a defender, so if we lose Tarkowski,
we've got Collins.
Collins can come in, and then so Collins will come in for Tarkowski, and he's not a bad defender. Looking at the games that he has played,
I like Collins. He's very good. Yeah, he's decent.
So then I would. Ross Barkley again. The link hasn't gone away, and I've always liked him for quite some time.
Yeah,
I like Fabian Delph. I think he's a steady away player. But I'd also be looking at someone like Jesse Lingard, who went to West Ham. He lived his life at West Ham and enjoyed it, but he didn't move down there. He still lives around the Manchester area.
Yeah.
He's still trying to get that back in that first team football. He probably has a chance now. There's a new manager and potentially a new manager coming in at the end of the season. He just needs that first team football again to keep him going. He's that flair player, somebody that can change a game. He would be somebody that I would be looking at, because he can play off the front. He can also play out wide.
Do you think he'd come to Burnley?
Well, why not? If you live in Manchester and you were travelling down to London all the time, from Manchester, then why not? Like, as long as we're pushing to get out of that relegation zone, then why not? And then I think you've got to be looking at a couple of like fringe players. I don't know too many, but you've got to be looking at players that are on the fringes of your Man Cities, your Liverpools, your Chelseas, your Arsenals, your United, Tottenhams, people that are just sat on the fringe that want first team football that you can just bring in, that are still fresh and have still been playing at the top level, you know, in and out. Dele Alli, for instance, like, he's going to be on a hell of a lot of money, but he's going to want to be at that club, whether it, and, you know, or Tottenham going to want to sell in January where the money's lower.
I think he'll go. I think Dele Alli will go to Newcastle.
Yeah, I think that's where he'll end up as well.
I think Dele Alli will go to Newcastle.
You know, because they're the club that are going to be the club that spends a lot of money. Noticeably, January transfer windows are lower spending. You don't spend high amounts of money on players in January transfer windows.
But they'll spend quite a bit in January, I think. And as well, obviously, the difference with obviously the beauty of the January transfer window is that some of your players are on, obviously, the latter stage of the contract. So clubs are looking at it and thinking, well, we could get 5 million for him instead of letting him go in the summer for nothing. So we'll just sell him for 5 million. So they've got some income coming in for it as well.
I think.
But I like your players though. I like that idea of. I completely forgot about Collins, to be honest with you. But I think
we still need another one there.
Player.
I know recently we've been linked with another young lad from somewhere as well, which is another backup that he can build. But I think he's noticeably done okay with building play. Apart from Gibson, giving people a little bit of time on, you know, behind somebody and then bringing them in. He did it with Nick Pope. You know, fetched him and then was able to feed him on. You know, he fetched quite a few players into the club and was able to move them on to bigger and better
quite
things sometimes.
Money, quite a decent amount of money. And I like them signings, though. I do like. I
look at the league and I think, right, at least in the last 6 games we've got a win, and then, you know, Watford won 1 in the last 6 games, but then have lost the other 5. Leeds won 1 in the last 6 games and then lost 3, drawn 2. We've lost 1 in 6. Yes, we haven't won in a long time, but that's 4 draws, 1 win and a loss in the last 6 games. It's not the worst form in the world, you know. I don't know if he'll do it on form. Like, we're currently 18th in the league, but that puts us, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th on form. Watford, Southampton, Brighton, Everton, and Norwich have got better form than all of them.
Yeah.
You know, they're still, and all these teams could go down apart from one that's in this group, I think. 2. Everton and West Ham are not going down out of this group. Absolutely Newcastle, not. Crystal Palace, not going down. Sorry, so 3.
Yeah, Crystal Palace aren't going down.
Crystal Palace, West Ham, and Everton are the 3 clubs in this group. Brighton maybe, but they're in thereabouts, are not going down in this group.
Yeah,
Newcastle, Leeds, Norwich, Brighton, Southampton, Watford, and Burnley.
Don't think Brighton will go.
No, Brighton are a touch and go side, aren't they? They've got a few wins in them, but on form wise, the 3rd bottom on form. Like,
you
know, there's no club that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the only club that's left in form where they actually are is Manchester United. They're 6th in the league and 6th in the form table. Everybody else has gone with the wind. They're all over the shop.
Scattered all over the shop.
You know,
so I think. So I think it's frustrating, like, because I think. So let's put it down to brass taxes and all that lot now. Datch gets someone in January, and he's basically has to focus on one position. What position do we focus on in January?
For me, what position do we focus on? Central midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. We need some legs in that middle of the park. Big time.
I think if we're gonna get anything, that's where we focus. We focus on central midfield. I think.
Get some legs.
Defensively, we've got to try and keep hold of one of the middle 2, if not both of them, in January transfer window. Wide men, you know, our right side We've got Matt Lawton, who arguably doesn't take too many steps wrong in his game. And then we've got
Connor
Roberts, who is not even getting a look in his class. And then left side, Charlie Taylor, you know, again. And we've got Peters behind him, you know, who's
not bad.
Who hasn't ever put a foot wrong for Burnley. Like,
it's not bad, is it?
Barely ever put a foot wrong for Burnley. Then you go into midfield. We've now got Cornet, who plays midfield as well, a wide man. Albeit Southampton, when I watched Burnley Southampton exploited the fact that he was more attacking than defensive minded. But we've got McNeil, we've got Aaron Lennon, who's getting on, but will keep working because he's got that Sean Dyche mentality. And you've got Goodmanson, again, who will work hard, doesn't always give you that final ball, but also sometimes I think he plays him on the wrong side. He needs to beat a man and whip it instead of cutting back and whipping it. And you've also got the central midfielder, what's he called, who plays out wide every now and again.
Brownhill.
Brownhill, sorry, yeah. But then we've got Westwood and Cork, who, don't get me wrong, 2 seasons ago, they were having the time of their lives in there. But in 2 seasons, their legs have gone, haven't they? Like, disappeared. See you later. Legs gone.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for coming.
Time. Yeah, exactly.
And
big time.
You know, it's just not working. You know, we had them balls that Westwood was playing, blind balls where he's whipping it over the back four and putting worldies in and stuff like that. It's not there.
Now you can't even beat your first man now.
And then, you know, your forward line, Ashley Barnes was past it a season ago. And arguably it's from the work that he did. You know, he went and put himself into players, but he's gone now. Jay Rodriguez it's just not, he just can't find form at the minute, can he? Poor lad.
No.
I don't think he's a bad player, and I think he can still offer something, but I think he just can't find form because he's not getting game time as much as he would like. Vidra, you know, again, very much like Jay, hasn't been given that opportunity to get game time up until recently, but then he's still not getting it because now Cornet is going up front and whatnot. But then Chris Wood, I'd have him on and tell him that he's a donkey, because at times he looks like a donkey. There's times where I watch him and I'm thinking, I play with football with some Sunday League players that would first touches better than you. I've never seen a player where the ball comes in to your big man and he touches it and his next touches a chest. And he's a professional footballer. It comes in and his next touches a chest and it's like running away from him and he's like, can't get there.
Well, he was saying
Bambi on ice.
We were saying on Sunday, what frustrates the living life out of me about Wood is, do you remember when we used to play and we would be known for a high pressure? So I'd lead from the front, you'd be dragging the midfield up, and DJ be dragging the defence up. So you lead from the front, don't you? And you defend from the front. Chris Wood's got this knack of, say like you've got the ball here, and I'm Chris Wood. Chris Wood comes steaming across, gets to you, and then don't do it. So it'll get to that point where you could put, he gets that.
He's got the idea right, but he seems to do it just the guy's about to takes a touch with his right foot, and he's all right foot, so he's going to play the ball with his right foot, and he's taking it this way, and Chris Wood then runs the opposite way, and you're just like, why have you curved your run that way? Like, curve your run the other way and block him off, so he has to go onto his left. You're curving your run and making him play on his stronger foot. And if the player's playing with curves his run, and I'm like, surely that's wrong. Like, just run at him. You're a big old lump. Just run straight at him.
Yeah, just run straight out. Yeah, be a bit more physical. Yeah, definitely. So let me put you on the spot then.
Ooh.
You've done it with me a couple of times tonight, so let me get one back. Who goes down? Who's your 3 goes down? And you can't. If you say it now, you can't change it.
Norwich, Watford, Burnley.
And that's been tonight's episode, guys. So thanks for coming. No.
Norwich, Watford, Burnley.
Okay.
Burnley. Newcastle are going to make signings. That's what takes me away from them, because can they get them to gel? If he gets them to gel, then they've got enough money to buy players and buy another squad, really. Do we have enough money to buy 3, if not 4 players, or loan 3, if not 4? We can't loan that many, but sign 2, loan 2. That's the question. Do the other clubs have that resource to then be able to do the same? Is Dealey going to put a hand in a pocket and spend money at Norwich?
Yeah. They'll spend.
And that's where I'm at. That's where my thinking's at. Can I see Leeds going down? I'm not sure. Watford are on a free fall at the minute. Leeds are on a bit of a free fall, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's it.
But I like to look at the form, and I think going up to 14th, Everton, going up to 13th, Brighton.
Yeah.
On form, I don't think any of them finish above Burnley at the minute. Let me put it in. So, I've got to move my camera so I can see it. Watford bottom, Southampton, Brighton, Everton, Norwich, Leeds. They are all Burnley at 18th. So 16th, 20th, 14th, 13th, 15th, 17th. So clubs around us. Burnley 18th, and there's not a club above us that's got a better form at the minute. Exactly. We've got a better form than Crystal Palace, who were in 11th. So clubs that are above us: Crystal Palace, West Ham, who were 5th. Leeds are above us. Everton are above us. Brighton are above us. And Southampton are above us. And Watford are above us. And we've got a better form than them. Can we keep that form going? If we can keep that form going, then we are safe. We've enough points to be safe, because this season we've done 17 games so far, and Norwich have got 10 points. So 17 games is not quite half a season, is it?
It's 36 games, isn't it?
So 36.
It's just short of.
So one game, is it? 18 games is 36, isn't it? So
yeah.
So say one's played 18, so it's the weekend's game that gets somebody to 18, isn't it? So say Norwich get 11 points. That's 22 points if you work it out on the same.
Yeah, projected points.
So that's low. Burnley, 11 points now. We've still got 3 games till our 18th game.
Yeah.
So, it's 9 points, that. Do you know what I mean? And 9 points gets us to 20 points. The 3 games in hand, the 3 games to 18 are Villa, who are our next game. Tottenham, who's just been cancelled, and Watford. And looking at that, you would say 3 points. But that gets out the relegation zone at the minute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, yes, I'm...
So you're sticking with that then? So Norwich, Watford...
It's hard though, isn't it? Because of our current form. I'm looking at it on current form.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, no, and that's what I mean. That's why it's different, because we've been in the games. That's why it's different. That's why I feel, I don't know.
Burnley are going to stay up. Okay, I'm changing it. Norwich, Watford, Southampton get relegated.
I knew you'd change it. I knew when you were going in with form, I thought he's definitely going to change it now.
Norwich,
no,
Watford,
I agree.
Southampton.
I agree with you. I feel out of the sides at the minute, I feel Southampton will not be able to turn it around.
Although we're not having a great season at the minute. Look, it took us 10 games to get points last year. We've got 11 points after 15. We've got 11 points after 15.
This is the thing. We're always capable of going on one of them runs and stuff and get us out.
And that's what I said that last night. The good thing about Burnley is we're capable of going on that run of where we win games 1-0.
Just win a couple of games here and there, 1-0.
Yeah.
Like 3 games out of 6.
That's what I'm saying about our games that we've played. Like the 0-0 draws were 1-0, can be 1-0. Like
1-0 wins.
Last season we went 10 games, and it was like pretty much all defeats. Everyone was like, "Oh no, they're getting relegated."
Yeah, exactly. I think we had the same conversation.
But
I think that's it for me. I think I mean, it's I think we've touched on the Premier League and that now, aren't we? And what we think. Oh,
hello, I'm back.
Hello. So what I just want to finish up with, if you don't mind, Mr. Young, is the impact that COVID is currently having on.
We went there early. I was going to say what you think top 4 is going to be before that, but yeah, because we've talked the bottom. So let's just quickly touch on top 4 before we go into the COVID. COVID.
I think your top 3 are 3 clubs: Manchester City, Liverpool, or Chelsea. I'm not sure which order yet, but it will be. It will be them.
It's not going to work for me. It's not going to work for me. You know fine well it's not going to work for me.
All right.
You told me that Brentford, Norwich, and Watford were going down. You also told me that Man United, Chelsea, City, and Liverpool were going to finish in top 4.
Yeah, that could still happen.
I think we both said Man United.
Not in the order that I'm.
Man United are going to finish top. So that didn't happen.
Yeah. Well.
So top 4, go on. No particular order.
Right. Okay. Top 4. I think top 4 will be Liverpool, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea.
Number 4.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
There's 3 of them staying there.
My number 4 is between 2 teams. Well, 3 teams. My number 4 is between 3 teams. West Ham, Tottenham.
What?
Yeah, Tottenham and United.
What about that Arsenal team that's sat in 4th at the minute?
No, I think the thing is with Arsenal. I think Arsenal will run out of steam. I think what's
Tottenham
going on
haven't got any steam.
No, give Conte a couple of give Conte a little bit of time, and he'll get them up there. And yeah, I think West Ham. Like I said, I watched West Ham on Sunday, and they were a very good footballing outfit. Very good. Keep the ball really well. Good, strong, physical team. But yeah, 3 out of the 3 out of
-1.
we're doing all right. I just think he's definitely going to influence a couple of things, and I think Conte would not have gone there with no assurances with money in January. 100%, they'll be spending big in January. So what about who's finishing 4th for you then?
So hold on a minute, you. So you didn't give me your top 4. You give me your top 6. I want top 4. Who is finishing 4th? I'm not asking for a particular order. I just want to know who's finishing, because it's going to be Manchester City, Liverpool, and Chelsea who win the league. One of them three is going to win the league. It's, in fact, I'm going to go as far as saying it's going to be Manchester City or Liverpool, because Chelsea, I just don't see them having enough at the minute to pull it back.
Who finishes fourth then?
I'd even go as far as saying it's Manchester City's league already, because they're in unbelievable form.
Who wins that league? Christ.
So Man City win the league. Liverpool for me. Liverpool, Chelsea fight out first, second and third. But who is fourth?
I'm going to go United.
I am going to go United as well. There you go.
I'm just going to go United.
I'm going United because
they know how, and they've been there and done it.
Yeah, and they just
the players he's got.
Yeah, he can gel it, and hopefully, he might get something in January. He might be able to move some on and bring something in. I think they need to bolster midfield. They might even go and try and sign Declan Rice in January, and that could do it for them. Be a tough signing, but we've seen signings. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But that would be for me. Arsenal will finish 5th, West Ham 6th, Tottenham 7th. Unless you get a new team of Tottenham after January and Harry Kane scoring goals, because that's what they need.
Yeah, maybe.
So on to you. Let's go. What we were going to say. COVID next, wasn't it?
So once again, everybody, we all know the current climate of the world and the current plight that we're in at the minute with this new variant and the havoc it's causing throughout the country at the moment, and not just the country but the world. And obviously, we're just going to focus on the footballing side of things. I think that you will see a lot more postponements over the Christmas period, and I think there's even the possibility of a 2-week break from it all.
Should they do that?
I think that in the grand scheme of things, I think the rumours that I'm hearing, and obviously don't quote me on this, people, because this is what I've heard, but they're talking about a lockdown on the 15th of January for 2 weeks. Now, that might not happen, but from a sporting point of view, there's every possibility to just go behind closed doors again, like they did last season. But what seems to be different?
We don't want that. We don't want that as football fans, do we? We don't.
No, definitely not. No, 100%.
I would
definitely not.
Because
there's a difference. So this time,
I would be happy for a 2-week break.
Yeah, but there's a difference. So this time,
be happy for a 2-week break and then a 2-week no fans. So go 2-week break, then
no fans.
Football starts, and then just no fans for 2 weeks while they get in COVID, all the COVID guidelines in.
Yeah.
Passports.
Capacity.
Yeah. I've got my passport. It's on waits in the post. I don't think they're worth anything, but is an LFT. I could have done an LFT 4 weeks ago, and then just turn up to the ground and say, here's a picture of my LFT, or here's my LFT that I took this morning or an hour ago. And actually, I did it 4 weeks ago. I did it 4 months ago. There's no,
Yeah, I think.
I thought I'd ran out of LFTs, and there was a box sat at the back of the cupboard, at the back of the thing. So we started using them again. Now, do they have dates on? And if I've used it, is it out of date? I don't know. No one said anything like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I've had both jabs. I've got my booster booked next week. I've no shame in saying that. People have got the right to be anti-vaxxers. They've got the right to say no to passports.
Absolutely.
They've got the right to do whatever the hell they like, and that's the good thing about it. We live in a diverse world where everyone can make their own decision. I don't believe we should be telling people everybody have it, unless it gets to a point where we need everybody to have it. I'm a believer that I'd like to just see it happening like the flu vaccine, and all the vulnerable people get a jab every year. And the rest of us, do get a cough and a cold and stuff like that, and we get on with it. The issue that you have behind it is that people die from it, and more people die from it than flu. Which is which is a slight difference between the flu and COVID. Now, look, I'm not a medical professional. I never have been, and I never fucking will be. And I'm just going off, conversations with people that are medical professionals. I married one. I don't know, but I did. So, conversations with people like that, and conversations with people around that, and I almost see it firsthand. My wife's on 24 hours notice to move to go out the door to go on vaccine, and we're less than 7 days away from Christmas. I can see stuff happening firsthand. People are busy with it. People are vaccine people. So we're as football fans, and on this show right now, we're talking about a really small thing. We're talking about whether football should carry on or not. In the grand scheme of things, it's really little. It's really, really small. And there was a good point made on TalkSport earlier today by a doctor that came on and said, if football is your priority this weekend, then go and do it. Go and watch it. Go and enjoy it. If football is not your main priority this weekend, and you're going just to have a pint and that is it, then potentially don't go and do it. But if football is your relief, and it's your get out, and it's your main, what you get out of life is going to watch football, then go and do it. Why shouldn't you go and do that? But just be wary. And someone mentioned that, oh yeah, but there's 80,000 fans in the ground and whatnot. What? You're right, there is 80,000 fans in the ground, but you're not getting in contact with 80,000 fans. It's the small majority around you. It's when you go into the concourse at half time and stuff like that, it's the standing and lining up in the queue. It is a danger. It is a danger. People are dying of it. And I'm saying that, and I've had nothing. Nothing. I've tested a couple of times. My family have tested a couple of times. We've gone into isolation. We done everything by the book. None of our family have had it. No one's died from it. I'm very, very lucky in that aspect. So to not have anybody ill with it or anything like that, nobody in hospital, nobody even get it and be fine with it at home. It's hard to say, stop. Because why should I say stop? Why should I even be having the vaccine? I've not gone near it. You know what I mean? But
there's
for
all sorts of premonitions waiting there.
Absolutely. And that's why I say it's each their own. Anybody, if you are somebody that is anti-vaccine, and I know I've got somebody on Facebook that is an absolute anti-vaxxer, and I'm pretty sure you've got him as well.
Yep.
And he's a top bloke, and I won't say anything bad about him because he's a class bloke. And I've got a lot of time for the guy.
Agreed.
And he may watch this, and I've had my jabs, and if that means that he doesn't want to talk to me again, then I'm okay with that. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think he's like that at all anyway. But that's just one of them, I don't know your status. I don't know whether you've had your jabs. I don't know whether you've gone. And that's, it is what it is. Everyone's different. It's like, I don't know how much you earn. I don't know how much
that bracket,
a member, somebody that works in the same building as me earns. You don't, it's not something that you talk about. So why would, I'm happy to speak about it. somebody wants to know how much money I earn, just give me a shout and I'll tell you it's shit. But you know, it's in that similar vein. But going back to the football thing, for me, that's what I would do. I would right now, just right now, just go bang. That's it. There's only 2 games at the weekend, and Burnley is still going to be on last. It doesn't really matter to Burnley. They're still going to be last on match of day. So let's just go bang right now. Finish. Index. That's it. 2-week break.
Can it 2 weeks?
Have it off.
Can it for
have
2
this
weeks.
One off. Have Boxing Day off. Let's come back on the 1st of January. But on the 1st of January, let's have a week or 2 weeks without no fans in the ground, just to get on top of it, because it could be at that time that, because one of the things I've got is if they put us into lockdown, but for all this time they've allowed everybody to go into the pubs and clubs and whatnot. Like I don't really go pubs and clubs. I went to a club last night with the football lads, but I don't really go to the pub every week. I don't go to out night clubbing or anything like that. It's just not my life anymore. I've got 2 kids and a wife that's boring. She's never going to watch this program. She's never going to know about it. So, you know, it's sort of one of them for me. I don't do that, so I can't really have a say on all of it. But you can't let people do that and then say, right, we're going to have a lockdown now. And no one's going to listen to them because they had parties last year, dickheads. I can't remember if I went to a party or not. Come on, guys. You've got fucking pictures of you all there. Like,
yeah, exactly. So, I think going like in on the sport aspect, I think for me, I think a 2-week break would be probably good. I think just to sort of curb and stop the curve at the minute, try and get like something.
Because just solve the problem for the footballers, won't it?
Well, I think because the biggest difference between last season and now is that a hell of a lot more footballers are coming back positive, and they're taking so much more precaution on it now. Like shutting training grounds and basically saying go home, don't come back until 10 days. So it's sort of being better policed now in the fact that, you know, they're postponing games and stuff because there's not enough players in the club to play the game, which I think is a good idea. But I think from, you know, something that we on a We Know Nothing show, something that we pride ourselves on is that we don't judge people.
No.
You know, this isn't a show where we're going to criticize you for having a different opinion to ours, or you to criticize us for having a different opinion to yours. The only thing I would, if you've got a
different opinion to ours, come and talk to us, because we'll have a conversation about it. Like we've got no odds about having a conversation, have we, mate? That's the thing. Like,
no, exactly, and
don't go screaming at us, but come and have a conversation with us. Like,
come and have a convo with us. Yeah, exactly. Obviously, it's a football-based show, but obviously, as you can tell from now, we are speaking about other topics. But one thing I would like to say is just for everyone to keep safe. You know.
I agree.
Keep safe. If it works for you, then you keep doing that. You keep doing you, because that's your prerogative.
Keep doing you, and that's I would say that's the main key.
Yeah.
Keep doing you. If that's working for you, then let it work for you. Then and you know, keep going about your life and keep doing your things, because we're not here to tell people to do something different. I'm not here to tell Mark he needs to go and get his booster jab. I'm not here to tell anybody that if you're an anti-vaxxer, then you're doing it wrong, or if you're a vaxxer, then you're doing it wrong. We're not about that. We're about being diverse and being open. We've already had the whole racism thing go over us, and we brought that up, and we want to hit topics that are hard hitting and talk about them, and this one's a big one at the minute. Yeah,
exactly.
I think
it's massive.
I think a 2-week break for the clubs would be ideal, not just from matches, but maybe a week from the training ground, and just get everybody away, get everybody, them all. They've got to do things different to what we do if they want to carry on playing football. There's been a lot of talk about a couple of people collapsing and stuff like that. And have they had the vaccine? Have they not? Is that affecting them? Well, I've had both of mine and I still play football on a weekend. I play twice, play Saturdays and Sundays. So, and touch wood, right now, I've not had any issues. I had issues a long time before that, but I've not had any issues now. There's lots of people that play football. Don't get me wrong, these guys have been playing at the highest level and pushing their standards to the highest level. I'm a fat bloke, so my heart is definitely working in decent amount to get me around a pitch. But look, I think we're both in agreement that the clubs they need to put in a 2-week break and just go from there.
Just can it now, because like I said, two fixtures at the weekend, might as well can the lot, and then just have the 2-week break. But I think one of the things that what we were just touching on earlier is, like we were saying, from the We Know Nothing show, just be safe, and just
and try and enjoy Christmas.
Well, I'm just going to say that, from a reach out from us to you and your extended family. We hope you have an amazing Christmas. The last 2 years has been horrible for a lot of people. We hope you have a lovely Christmas with your kids, your families, your friends, partners, whatever you're going to do. Just make sure you enjoy it to the best of your own ability. But yeah, I mean, again, another decent little show there, Youngie. Thanks for always being here, pal. Couldn't do it without you, as you well know. But yeah, like I said, guys, we hope you enjoy this show. Appreciate you taking your time to listen to us. Like I said, we hope you have a really good Christmas. Be safe, and we'll catch you in the new year. Youngie, see us out, son.
Just again, Mark, thanks very much. Couldn't do it without you, as we both say. And, be safe and just have a cracking Christmas. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a family Christmas. Go and say hello to somebody that you've not said hello to in a while. Send them a message. See how they're doing, because some people are not going to be in the same frame of mind as others. I know I've had a couple of tough weeks myself. So, and
if you are feeling like that, then by all means reach out.
We're here. We are two top blokes who have been through enough in their short lives, to be able to point you in the right direction of some people that can help. And if you want to find out more about that, just go on our YouTube down and scroll down until you see Dave Skulls, because he's got some great help right there for you, in the form of 4 cans of beer. But yeah, thanks, Mark, and thank you to the people that are going to watch the We Know Nothing show, and we will see you again probably after the new year now, maybe, mate, with hopefully a special guest. Special guest, yeah. So, Merry Christmas, Mark.
Merry Christmas, son. I hope you have a good one, pal.
I'll speak to you soon, mate. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye, pal.